It's nearly Christmas in Japan, and the country has a special skill of taking a traditional concept and making it their own. Christmas is no different, and there are some very interesting ways that they have created a holiday experience that is distinctly Japanese. I'm Jun from Japan Junkie, and today we're talking about 10 unique Japanese Christmas traditions. Number 10. While Christmas is usually a family holiday around the world, in Japan, Christmas Eve is one of the most romantic days of the year, and it's also the number one day for marriage proposals. It's similar to Valentine's Day, with the focus being on partnerships. A lot of what Japanese people have come to know about the holiday has come from Western Christmas movies, most of which are romantic. And because it's similar to Valentine's Day, it has the same demands for the day to be perfect and the gifts to be meaningful, and usually expensive. Many people are desperate not to be single on Christmas Eve, with Halloween being a big time for people to start looking for partners. Luckily, Japan has many websites where you can hire someone for the day for those people who would rather go on a date with a stranger than be alone. Because of these quick relationships being created, you can find a lot of second-hand jewellery being sold online in the following weeks when they break up and sell the presents they received from their Christmas romances. Number 9. The role that Santa plays in Japan is a little different to the rest of the world. The original purpose of Christmas was as a Christian holiday to celebrate the birth of Jesus, but a delightful misunderstanding in Japan has created some confusion as to the reason for Santa's existence. He's known as Santa-san, or Mr. Santa. Santa-san! And many children in Japan believe that Christmas is the celebration of his birthday. Some even believe that the Christmas cake is his birthday cake, and he brings the presents to celebrate.
どうして僕にはプレゼント持ってきてくれないの?
お前の家が貧乏だからだよ。
It's a known fact that Santa enters our house through the chimney. But in a country that has almost no chimneys, how is Santa supposed to get in? Lucky for Japanese children, Santa has learned to climb through the window, which makes sense in warmer locations, but in the colder parts of the country, some children believe that he has magic powers, like a ghost, and can pass through the walls. A Japanese scientist has researched the physics behind Santa's ability to deliver so many presents in one night. He calculated that Santa would need millions of reindeer to pull 300,000 tons of presents. Therefore, the weight of the reindeer and presents, plus the speed that Santa would be moving, would create a sonic boom so powerful that it would destroy the Earth. He clearly doesn't have the Christmas spirit. Number 8. In Western countries, people who celebrate Christmas often feel a lot of pressure to return home to be with family on Christmas Day. Because of this, the holiday period is usually associated with a feeling of guilt or loneliness for many people. With Christmas Eve being the most romantic day of the year in Japan, those who are single may feel a similar kind of loneliness. In fact, it's so common that there's a word for it, kuribocchi. The kuri comes from kurisumasu, and the bocchi comes from hitoribocchi, which means alone. There's even a TV show that airs on Christmas Eve for single people watching at home. Viewers can call the station and tell them about their life situations. If the host thinks that they're lonely enough, they can win luxury prizes. But this concept is slowly changing. People have started realising that Christmas is much more enjoyable spent with people who they care about, rather than short-term romances with strangers. Love hotels have even started selling packages catering to young women who want to have a party with their friends. And television commercials are gradually targeting people who want to spend Christmas with the important people in their lives. Number 7. Thanks to some clever marketing in 1974, KFC has taken over as the traditional Christmas food of Japan. This came about when the company opened in Japan in 1970 and business wasn't great. Japanese people assumed that KFC was a barbershop because of the striped patterns on the storefront and the gentleman on the logo. A KFC manager overheard some foreigners complaining about the lack of Christmas food in Japan. Turkey isn't common, and most apartments don't have ovens that can roast a chicken. When the manager was asked if eating KFC was a Christmas tradition overseas, he replied, "Of course." The tradition was started, KFC Japan was saved, and the manager became CEO in the 80s. And now, every year, 3.6 million Japanese people take part in eating KFC on Christmas Eve. The meals are so popular that people start booking their Christmas packs from the 1st of November, and even then there are lineups to collect their Christmas dinners. The sales are so impressive that the Christmas period alone accounts for a third of their yearly sales. Number 6. When people in Western countries think of Christmas cakes, it's usually a dense and fruit-filled pudding. But in Japan, Christmas cakes resemble the kind you might receive on your birthday. They can be different flavours and toppings, but the most common version is a layered sponge cake with a filling of strawberries and cream. It's heavily coated in icing and a variety of decorations from Santa to Christmas trees, and often include a little Christmas message. They sometimes even have birthday-style candles, which is unheard of on a Christmas cake in Western countries. Making a Japanese Christmas cake is a lot easier than making a traditional Christmas pudding, considering the time and ingredients needed. Christmas puddings are not even liked by many children because of the strong flavours. So maybe Japanese cakes can be an alternative that can be adopted around the world. But the term Christmas cake has a second meaning in Japan. It's a less than complimentary word used to describe unmarried women over the age of 25, referring to a Christmas cake that isn't sold after the 25th of December. The term isn't used as much nowadays, but did you know that the perfect traditional Christmas fruitcake actually gets better with age and can last over 100 years? Just like high-quality wines, Christmas cakes and puddings need to mature to develop complex flavours that can only be achieved with time. So really, being a Christmas cake just means you get better every year. Number 5.
Go!
During December, Christmas songs can't be avoided, whether you're in a department store or a Starbucks. Romantic or bittersweet tunes are the favourites, with classics like Last Christmas by Wham and All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey standing out as the winners each year. Tatsuro Yamashita, the man known as the king of city pop, has a classic song called Christmas Eve. The song was used in an advertising campaign in the 80s for the Japan Railways Group. During this time, the Shinkansen was given the title of Christmas Express because it united people at Christmas, which is perfect as the song reflects the wish to be with a loved one on Christmas Eve. Tatsuro's wife also has a song that's heard every Christmas. Maria Takeuchi gained YouTube fame for her 80s city pop hit Plastic Love. Her Christmas song is a Japanese original called Suteki na Holiday or Wonderful Holiday. Just like her husband's song was used in an advertising campaign, Maria's song has been used every year for the KFC Christmas commercials. And Ode to Joy can also be heard at this time of year. It's so popular that it even has its own name, which is Daiku, meaning Big Nine, because it's from Beethoven's Symphony No. 9. Every year since 1983, a massive Japanese choir of 10,000 people sings a grand rendition of Ode to Joy. The tradition has become a cultural event and always attracts a large audience. Number 4.
Yo!
There's something about Disney that just goes together with Christmas, probably because they're both nostalgic and remind people about being a child. But in Japan, Disneyland isn't just for children. In December, Tokyo Disneyland is a cherished part of Christmas and is especially popular among couples. There are festive decorations and special holiday-themed events. There are unique foods, parades and fireworks, and if you're lucky, it may even snow. Tokyo Disney also has its own Christmas mascot called Lil Ring Ring, which is a cute Christmassy version of Mickey Mouse. If you want to visit, consider going on a weekday. Weekends and Christmas Day can be very crowded. And people usually dress up more than other Disney theme parks worldwide. It's likely because they're on romantic dates and want to capture the moment with memorable photos. Number 3.
Sam!
Just like many countries, shopping is a big deal at Christmas time in Japan. The weeks leading up to Christmas see huge advertising campaigns for jewellery companies. And of course, the concept of Black Friday and Cyber Monday is growing every year in Japan. These are days where companies have sales, and in the US, it's the biggest shopping day of the year. So of course, companies like Amazon want to spread the Christmas spirit to other countries. In 2017, a survey showed that 31% of Japanese people knew about Black Friday, and 2 years later, that number grew to 75%. Because putting up a Christmas tree isn't as common in Japanese homes, it's a great opportunity to head to the many shopping centres that have beautiful tree displays. And because Christmas isn't a public holiday, you can go shopping on Christmas Day because everything stays open. If you want a more authentic and memorable experience, Christmas markets are a fun way to try a variety of food from different vendors, and you can buy handmade crafts and decorations. Mulled wine and beer are popular drinks at these markets, reflecting the German heritage. There are many markets across the country, and some of the biggest in Tokyo are the Tokyo Christmas Market in Meiji Jingu Gaien and Roppongi Hills Christmas Market. And if you don't want to do any Christmas shopping at all in Japan, the TV commercials alone are worth watching. Number 2.
Me!
Ordinarily, this category would be called presents, but in Japan, it's more appropriate to use the singular present. It's very different to the Christmas lists of children around the world. On Christmas Eve, Santa visits with a present. But the present doesn't go under the tree like it does in other countries. Even if the house has a Christmas tree, the present usually appears next to the sleeping child. In some countries, presents can appear in Christmas stockings. If there's no fire to hang them in front of, what purpose do they have? Of course, Japan has fixed this problem by inventing stockings that don't need hanging at all. They're more like Christmas boots. They're filled with food or small toys, and you buy them pre-filled from the shop. There are even themed boots, from One Piece to Sailor Moon. And while children around the world are tearing into their wrapped presents, it's more common for Japanese children to be encouraged to carefully unfold their gifts. Number 1.
Ichi.
In Japan, Christmas lights are called illuminations. Trees, buildings and streets are filled with colourful lights and beautiful designs. These displays create a festive atmosphere, drawing locals and tourists out at night. The tradition grows in popularity every year, and there are new creative illuminations popping up all around the country, with most cities having some sort of display. The most popular sites in Tokyo are around Midtown in Roppongi and Shinjuku Southern Terrace. The northern city of Sapporo is a wonderful place to spend the holiday season, and you have a fairly high chance of having a white Christmas. Apart from the amazing illuminations, the snow makes a fairy tale atmosphere for the annual Munich Christmas markets. Sapporo has shorter daylight hours, so you can enjoy a long evening of lights and Christmas activities. Even though there are buzzing crowds, it's still much less crowded than Tokyo. No matter where you are in Japan, when you wake up the next day on December 26th, everything is magically gone. As if nothing ever happened, Christmas is over for another year. Thank you for staying all the way to the end. You can leave a comment with any suggestions you have for future videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you next time.
良いお年を。